In the end, the story of the game is turnovers. That's what Steve Kerr had to say after the Warriors lost 121 to 116 to the Sacramento Kings in the absence of Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. The Warriors committed 18 turnovers in this game, surrendered 30 points off of those turnovers, and they were only able to steal back 11 points off turnovers of their own. A big reason why was they were missing Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond, three capable ball handlers on this Golden State Warriors roster. When you're missing all three, it's going to be pretty sloppy in a lot of situations for Golden State. We're going to talk about some bad news from this loss that we got in this one. And we're also going to talk about some great news because the Warriors were able to take away some actual good things from this game, some really, really stellar performances. But the Warriors are now 5-4, and they've lost too many games that I'm really honestly comfortable for. If you are frustrated with all these losses as well, go down below and hit that thumbs up icon. Like today's video. Make it known. If you're watching this video, you got to be frustrated with the play of Golden State right now. So make it known and hit that thumbs up icon. Alrighty, so before we talk about what happened in this game, I want to take the first part of today's video and talk about the unction for a second. Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and obviously Al Horford as well, the 39-year-old playing center for the Dubs here. Steph ruled out of this one with an illness. It's going to be cleared up. He said his symptoms worsened overnight, but that should be fine here as the season goes along. But again, when you're missing Steph, you better count on missing Draymond as well. He got ruled out shortly before this game, and there really wasn't much of a reason given for this. NBA Centel tweeted out that Draymond Green, in parentheses, Curry not playing, were listed out for tonight. So I don't know what's going on with Draymond. Maybe it's rest, maybe he's sore, maybe it's whatever. But Jimmy Butler was taken out of the previous night's game against the Phoenix Suns, the first leg of this back-to-back, with lower back soreness. He had been questionable going into that one. So Jimmy dealing with lower back, Steph is sick, and Draymond just doesn't want to play. We knew that there were going to be situations like this for the Golden State Warriors throughout this season. I mean, all three of these guys are 36 years of age or older, but didn't necessarily expect it to be 10, not even 10 games into the season. And it comes at a bad time considering the Warriors gave away games they should have had in the bag. Like, you got to show up and play against the Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis Antetokounmpo. You got to show up and play against the Indiana Pacers that don't have, like, any of their stars on the team. You lose those two games, and now you're missing Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond, and you lose the Sacramento Kings because of it. Look, this is not the first time, this has happened, and this is not the last time that this is going to happen this season. So Warriors got to be able to weather the storm. They were not able to in this game against Sacramento, and taking a glimpse into the future for Golden State, the guys who were wanting to take the keys from these guys, they were not able to do it against the Sacramento team that were missing their own stars as well. Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, all did not play in this game. The Warriors' young cats could not get it done in the absence of their star veterans. So this is not good. This is not good for Golden State that these guys are already missing games. There's more to come here, and not only for them, but also for Al Horford, who did not play well, offensively, I should say, in this game. Shooting the basketball, I should say. Steve Kerr did say that he thought he played a great game. So shout out to Al for doing a good job on the defensive end, rebounding the basketball, doing those things. But shooting the basketball is a problem for Al Horford. So we're talking about the unction. We got to talk about Al Horford and his shooting slump here. He's 1 for his last 16 from three-point range after going 0 of 7 in this game. He is 5 of 24 overall from three-point range. Steve Kerr said the shots are going to fall. He's Al Horford, but the Warriors are losing games, and I'm telling you right now, you lose games to the Bucks and the Pacers, and then you lose games like this without your stars, and if you can't put together wins in those situations where you're kind of backs against the wall, there's a little bit of adversity in those situations where you're not playing the stars, you got to find your way to get up for those games, and games like this as well without Curry and whoever is out from the aging wonders here in Golden State, like, you got to get at least one of those sides of the coin in the win column, and the Warriors haven't been able to do it. That's becoming a problem. I think Al Horford's going to come back with his jump shot, but another thing that the Warriors are going to need to come back here, I think, is DeAnthony Melton, to be quite honest with you guys. With him out of the lineup still for Golden State, rehabbing that ACL, like, you have this big game with turnovers. You have this big game where you need veterans to come up big, and you're missing a guy who's a capable ball handler, a guy who can kind of slow things down for the Golden State Warriors and not turn the ball over as much as some of these other guys do in DeAnthony Melton. So definitely going to need him back as well. All right, we're done talking about the unction. Let's talk about some bad stuff that came from some of the Warriors youngsters tonight. Look, trust me, there is good news coming, so stick around on this video. But Jonathan Kuminga, before we talk about really what happened and how his game kind of unraveled for the most part, I got to talk about one of the final possessions of this game. Warriors were able to cut the lead down. They were down 9, they were down like 11 with like 3 or less minutes to go. And then with less than a minute to go, they had a chance to tie the ball game. And I don't mind going and getting 2 points. Kuminga didn't see a lane for a three-point shot, even though he caught the ball at the top of the key, was 3 feet separated from a defender, and didn't elect to shoot it. He thought he was going. He went up. I wouldn't even call it a pump fake. He didn't elect to take the 3. Then he put his shoulder into the defender. Then he went into the paint. That defender fell. What does Kuminga do? Not step through to the lane and get a layup. No, he took a fall-away mid-range jumper, and he bricked it. And the Warriors had a foul, and that pretty much dictated the rest of the game. It was curtains from there. Look, Kuminga had 24. Awesome bounce back from the 9-point performance that he had against Phoenix in the game before. He had 9 rebounds as well. Awesome stuff. Couple of offensive rebounds, generating extra possessions for Golden State. We'd love to see that. But I think even though Kuminga has taken leaps so far this year, we are still seeing there are big-time holes in his game. He racked up 4 fouls in the second half of this game, which just really limited his ability to be aggressive. Only 7 points of his 24 came in that second half when Golden State needed them more than ever. He's got to show more restraint with these easy, ticky-tack, reaching in, I don't know, man. The focus needs to be there a little bit more. I get it. He's got to, shoulder a lot more offensive weight in a game like this. But the defense, it still has to be there, and it wasn't in this game. It feels like he was cheating a little bit on that end. Steve Kerr called a timeout as well because he thought Kuminga was not engaged defensively. So I understand it. He's got to do more. He's got to shoulder more weight. But if you're going to pay all that attention to the offensive end and kind of cheat on defense, you can't be turning the ball over either. 5 turnovers in this game for Jonathan Kuminga, 9 in the back-to-back stretch against Phoenix and Sacramento here. It just can't happen. It just cannot happen. So Kuminga, solid scoring the basketball. Ended up being 8 of 19. Started really efficiently, but kind of unraveled as those fouls and those turnovers really piled up in the second half. Podziemski, he had 4 turnovers as well. I get it when he's dominating the balls as much as he's going to in this game. It's going to happen. He had 9 assists to make up for it, so I can't be too mad about that. But turnovers at the end of the game just can't happen if this Golden State team wants to win games without their stars. I said Al Horford's shooting woes were continuing. Well, Quentin Post isn't doing much better here, man. 0 of 3 from long range for him. Didn't even score in this game. The Warriors' bigs are a non-threat offensively as it stands right now because they're not hitting jump shots. So, again, bad news there. I think the worst news, honestly, continues to be with the minutes we see from Gary Payton. I'm not going to lie. He had one of the worst turnovers I have ever seen in my life during this game in a really crucial moment for Golden State, and it just can't happen. Such a non-provider on offense. Yes, he can cut off the ball, but Golden State has other players who can cut off the ball and be available in the dunker spot and whatnot. We're going to talk about some of those guys in the back half of today's show. Get GP2 out of the rotation. That's going to happen when DeAnthony Melton gets back. I am hoping and praying it does because another minus 13 game tonight when the Warriors only lose by 5. TJD, don't really need to see him too much anymore. He played long stretches in this game probably just because Draymond was out for the most part. Jimmy was out. Front court bodies were down, so they had to play TJD a little bit more, especially when Post and Horford were giving you nothing on the offensive end for the most part. But the Warriors, he's not a good defender. He gets baited way too much. I just don't think he's an NBA player, to be honest with you guys. And Pat Spencer was a minus 19. Like, he just gets picked on the defensive end. He got some nice takes to the basket, but it's just not going to do it for me when the Warriors lose this game by 5 and Pat Spencer, his minutes on the floor were a minus 19. So not happy with the way that a lot of this Warriors team played, but I am very happy with the play of 2 big-time dubs. We're going to talk about those guys, those young cats, on the back half of today's show. First, though, I got to tell you guys about our sponsor, as this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. It's the best daily fantasy sports app in the game. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you watch the winnings roll in. It takes less than 60 seconds to create a lineup, and Prize Picks separates themselves because they have the best features like stacks, where if you want to take multiple stat projections from the same player and put it in the same lineup, you can do so on PrizePicks. It's also becoming a social event as well, where you can copy other players' lineups, your favorite celebrities, your friends, other creators that you follow as well. Even myself, you can copy my lineups. My lineup went 4 of 5 in this Warriors versus Kings game. Unfortunately, Buddy Hield had a really, really rough game, honestly. I didn't even talk about him in the first half of today's show. Bad game from Buddy Hield. 9 points. Did not get the more than 12.5 that I needed. You can tell my picks or fade them. Just do it at PrizePicks, though. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. That's code CLNS for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. PrizePicks. It's good to be right, and all that information is clickable down in the comment section and description of today's video. Whoa. We got to talk about Will Richard, and we got to talk about Moses Moody. Epic performances from these two guys. Look, I know the Warriors didn't win the game, but we got to take something good away from this loss, and it was the play of Moses Moody over this back-to-back stretch and the play of Will Richard when he gets the opportunity. Hats off to these two guys. Moses Moody is averaging 26 points per game in the back-to-back here, a 28-point outing against Sacramento, a 24-point outing against Phoenix. He continues to show when you give him minutes, he is going to reward you for the opportunity. 11 of 19 from three over these last two games. In this one, 6 of 11. It just looks robotic in the best sense of the word. He is looking like it is repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat for Moses Moody. 4 blocks in this game as well, making an impact on the defensive end as we know he can do. Made right reads today. There were so many assist opportunities that Moses Moody had in this game as well. He's not going to essentially wow you as a shot creator, but as a creator offensively, he actually can be a good connector and a good passer of the basketball. So many opportunities. Warriors blue, open threes, looks at the rim that Moses Moody found in this one. So credit to him for scoring the hell out of the basketball, hitting some really big shots down the stretch for Golden State as well, and obviously playing great defense as we know he can do. I think Moses Moody has arrived here for Golden State, to be quite honest with you guys. I said it in the last video that we made as well. When you give him more than 20 minutes, he's going to score the basketball. He can do that. And it's going to look even better when we get this rotation a little bit more refined and the vets are in there and Moses Moody is playing off of the ball a little bit more. He has impressed me a ton so far this season, and I want him to be a mainstay in this rotation. Another player who I want to be a mainstay in this rotation, and we alluded to him earlier, Will Richard with a 30 ball against Sacramento here. And I couldn't be happier about the 30 points that he had and the 7 rebounds that he had and the 5 offensive rebounds that he had. But I am even happier about what he said after the game. They asked him about his 30-point performance, asked him if he was, satisfied with it. He said, "No, we lost." This kid's a winner. He's a national champion, a 4-year collegiate player, and the ultimate glue guy. He had 12 points off the rip in this game. He had 12 of the first 16 points for Golden State. It was awesome. And it's not just in the half-court offense. It's turning defense into offense. It's creating havoc. It's creating turnovers, pokeaways, leaking out, being in the right place, right time, good cuts off of the ball. And then when you're in a rhythm like that, then you start hitting the outside shots. He goes 5 of 8 in this game, including a 4-point play where you just know you're hot at that point. He's only the 2nd rookie this season to drop 30. The 3rd overall pick, VJ Edgecombe, and the 56th overall pick, Will Richard. Steve Kerr has said it in one of the first practices leading up to the season. He looks like he's a player. And he was talking to Jimmy Butler about he's a player. He said it after the first game of the season where he got real minutes. Looks like he's in his 7th year. The Warriors got a legit ball player who I think, if he gets consistent minutes, because, by the way, this is off of a ton of rust and uncertainty with himself on this Warriors roster. He's not even on a 2-way contract, but he got called down to the G League Santa Cruz Warriors here for a couple practices. And then he's getting DNPs in the active roster for Golden State when he gets called back up. And then he goes out there, just completely on ice, starts in this game. He got his first start last week. And he drops 30. By the way, 1 turnover for Will Richard. And that's not to say that he dominates the ball and handles it a whole heck of a lot, but he doesn't make bad decisions with it. He only makes good decisions on the basketball court. And it's on both sides. Look, Moses Moody, Will Richard, I'll tell you right now, I need both of these young men, these 23-year-old men, to be playing 20 to 25 minutes a game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Let's talk about a refined lineup for Golden State that includes Moses Moody and Will Richard. Two guys who can switch everything. Two guys who can hit the outside shot. Two guys who create turnovers and splash plays defensively. So I want Steph Curry. I want Draymond Green. I want Jimmy Butler. This is in no positional order or anything like that. Those guys are obviously going to play 30 minutes a night. 35 minutes a night in some close games. I want Moses Moody. I want Will Richard. Obviously, we're going to need Pods for that backup ball handler. Kuminga, obviously, playing big minutes. And then DeAnthony Melton. And then, one of Al Horford or Quentin Post to dominate the big minutes there. So your 9-man rotation will go as that. We don't need GP2 in the lineup anymore. Don't need to see Trace Jackson Davis. Barely need to see Buddy Hield, to be quite honest with you. And don't need to see, who else was it? I'm thinking of here. Is it, I say GP2, TJD, Pat Spencer. Who's going to say? I know he's on a 2-way contract. We don't need to be playing Pat Spencer big minutes. He was a minus 19 against this Sacramento team. Look, it was a rough game, but I don't think the Warriors are down and out yet. This team's resilient. This team knows how to play and stay connected. So I'm not super concerned just yet. You're missing Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, but if that continues to become a trend where you're missing one or two of those guys consistently and you're not winning those games when they're missing, then I am going to start being worried about the Golden State Warriors. What's your concern level with the Golden State Warriors before we get out of today's show? Scale it for me in the comment section. 1 being you are very no concern at all. This team's going to be very, very fine. 100 being that you have the most concern in the world. This team's not even making the playoffs. Let me know what your answer is down in the comment section. And make sure you are subscribed to Warriors Today for more Warriors news, rumors all season long. We'll be live again next week for Warriors versus Thunder on Tuesday. We'll see you guys all then. We'll see you guys in the next video. And as always, let's go Dubs.